Hey guys, we are here with Kai. Today's Kai's last day. He's heading home in just a few hours. So we decided to go out for one last lesson together. We're at Home Depot right now. We're going to go over to PetSmart next. If we have time, maybe stop by the park to get some good exercise in. So he's nice and tired for his parents tonight. But really, I just wanted to show you something cool real quick. So at Home Depot, I like to practice at the doors. There's a lot of good things that you guys can do at Home Depot. You can practice all of their commands. I just took some cool pictures of him placing on some of the big walking, like the steps and stuff to get up top. But what we're working on right now is waiting at the doors. So as silly as it looks, you can still practice keeping him in a sit stay while you So right there, I could already tell he's going to pop up as soon as I open this door. You can just see it in his body language. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get him into a more relaxed state. Okay. Sit. Stay. Wait. Okay, so pops up. Alright, sit again. Unfortunately, there's a box behind it, so we can't open it anymore. Okay, let's try the next one. Ready? Position, wait. So I just reapply pressure on his leash. And to understand that just because something distracting happened doesn't mean that he gets to just pop up from his sit position. Doesn't matter if it's a door opening, another dog passing by, someone saying hi to him, a cart passing by him, a stroller, a kid running. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is, he should understand that he has to stay in that position until you say, okay. So these are the kind of things that I practice with my dogs. You may look silly, but that's the point. You have to get your dog to listen to you regardless of what's going on around you, right? Okay. One more time. What's that? What's that, buddy? There's nothing. I'm just kidding. Okay. Good boy. So that's exactly the kind of things that you want to do. I'm not sure what this box is, but we're going to do this. Place. Good boy. Okay. I'm not going to make him go all the way up just because I don't know what's in the box. Here. If he paws at his transitional, you can just give him a little pop just to say, That's just part of conditioning. He's only been wearing a transitional for maybe 2 weeks or so. So it's normal. He's doing much, much better with it now. Very rarely. That's the most I've seen him paw since we've been here. But yeah, all in all, he's doing a great job. I would say his biggest thing that I would practice keeping a very strong handle on is not letting him get too far ahead of you when you guys are healing. So I've said this in other videos. He's got such a long nose. He's a shepherd. Here's our little Airedale buddy we just met before. He's sweet. So as soon as, see right there, he didn't notice I just turned, right? That means he's too far ahead of me. If he's not paying attention, your dog may be going your pace, but that does not mean that they are paying attention and following your lead. It just means that they understand this is how fast we're supposed to walk. Right? So turns are the best thing for you to practice because it kind of forces him to pay attention. Good boy. Right, so just gentle little pops. You do not need big, heavy-handed pops. Little pops. If you do more than 2 or 3 pops at any time, you want to go to a full stop, okay? So if you have told him, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, he's still not paying attention, then you want to go to a full-on calm down and get him into a calmer state of mind. nice heel. You can see I've got no pressure on my leash. Normally I wouldn't be holding it like this, but when I hold my camera, it makes it a little more challenging. But as long as you have no pressure, this is the point, right? Pressure shouldn't be used to guide him, right? So even right there, most people, because he wasn't listening, would have choked up on their leash and pulled him. Notice I do the opposite. I let go of all of that. Kai! And I get him to listen to me, not listen to a leash. Kai! Good boy. Right? So this is all, Kai, off. Good boy. This is all about getting him to focus on you. Now, it's not, do not have to use the transitional with him. He does well without it as well. Make sure that you have it positioned properly so that it's high up framing his skull. But just to give you off, a little demo, showing the hot dogs. You can see off. Get away for a moment. Okay, yeah. So you can see he can still heel with slip lead. It's the same idea. The transitional just kind of drives it home a little bit faster, and you can use a little bit less pressure because dogs have those pressure points in their muzzle as well as in their skull. So it kind of just drives it home a little bit faster. He feels the pressure a little bit quicker. So when there's a lot of distraction, oh, sorry, buddy. See, that's what happens. I stepped on your toe. Sorry. That's the kind of stuff that happens. He's not paying attention. He gets stepped on. But yeah, so just make sure you keep it in the right position, and you give him those cues along the way. Make sure that he understands that he's got to pay attention. So just like that, so this is a good example too. In the sit position. Now if he barks, I'm just going to go right off. Okay, so I'm going to kind of block him from it. Off. Okay, so I'm going to give him something else to think about now. He's great with the other dogs. He's got such a big bark. He sounds so tough, but he really isn't. He just wants to play with everyone. But he sounds big and scary, so I can understand why people think that he is being quote-unquote aggressive, but he is in no way. That is not an aggressive bark at all for him. He is simply just saying hello, and he's just got a big spooky bark. Okay. He's still there. He's still chilling. So I was able to give him something else to think about in that moment. I put him in a sit position, which is a calmer state of mind. Right? I stepped in front of him, which is using my spatial pressure to say, no, pay attention to me right now, not the distraction. Right? So that's pressure off and pressure on, pressure off, pressure on. And you can add that as a second force of pressure. So, okay, for instance, let's say I've been holding this pressure and he's still not sitting, right? Good boy. If I had been holding that pressure and he still hadn't sat, right? Okay, perfect. Off, so I can step in front of him. I still have the pressure on, but I step in front of him to add a second force of pressure. You don't need to add more tension to the leash. You need to get him to pay attention. Okay. So that is the goal when you are doing that. So if you can keep your eye open when you're out on walks and make sure that you're looking ahead of the game and get him to focus on you, you can start doing things like this where you make turns. You can do sit, stay, sit. Come. Sit. Kai. Sit. Pressure. Good. Okay. Left turns, again, are great because they kind of bump into him, forces him to realize that's what happened when I stepped on his toe. He wasn't paying attention that I turned left, and oopsie, I almost did it again. But one or two of those, and he's going to quickly realize, like, oh, shoot, I got to pay attention. Good boy, come in. So you can see already that without the transitional, he's not quite as focused as he was before. So I'm going to show you real quick. Go ahead and throw his transitional back on. Bear with me, one-handed. Oops, figure 8 goes up over his muzzle. So now, watch the difference between how much easier he focuses Now, if you notice he's pawing at the transitional, that is more than likely because you're adding too much pressure. You need no pressure when it comes to this. The only time that pressure should be on is if you're doing that or if you're doing this. That's it. Every other time, this should be loose as possible. If it is not, that means that he is not healing. Okay. Right? So you can see there's a U shape. It's nice and loose right there. He's following my pace. Now watch if I turn. Good boy. I didn't choke up on it, right? That's what a lot of people want to do. This. Right? Then you're going to do what we do is pulling him, and you're using it as a tether, and you're getting him, really what you're doing is telling him it's okay to run a red light, because we're teaching him pressure means stop. We can't also let it mean I need you to come also. So it's not fair to him. So you have to learn to use your leash a little bit differently than you have in the past with other dogs. And that just comes with practice. Start going still, no pressure, and keep it nice and loose. Okay, yep. And then again, you just want to use those light pops just to say, pay attention. If there's solid tension and your leash goes straight like that, that means we need to go into either a calmer state of mind. See that head tilt he just did right there? That was a sign that there's too much force and he could barely think through it. It was kind of like, oh, what's going on? Less is more when it comes to this. Okay. Less is more when it comes to this, because if you want to teach him just this teeny little pop means I need you to slow down, it has to be consistent that is what the pop means, right? So you can't be going like this and closing your hand up on this leash, because that's what happens when you close your hand on it and he pulls. He's putting pressure when it's unnecessary. If you learn to keep this resting on the tips of your fingers and let it slide out, even if he's not paying attention, you're going to have a communication line now because it's loose, and you're able to say, hey, pay attention. See how nice and smooth that was? He didn't realize I turned just by paying attention. He got one little pop just naturally, and we were all good. So I'm also going to show you real quick before we go, putting him onto place. So this one's on wheels. Good boy. So it might be, yes, good boy. So we've come up onto a bunch of objects in here so far today. He's getting a little bit braver and braver with each one, which I love. That's his self-confidence raising and him understanding, I got this. Right? So same idea. You're just going to keep him on there. If he tries to get off without you saying the two letters, okay, you're going to use your leash to either just give him a little pop to keep him on, or you're going to use your spatial pressure to move in to keep him on there and back off. So right here, right there, he was about to jump off. If you look at his body language there, he was coming towards the edge of the, good boy, that's a calmer state. So he's realizing, oh, I'm going to be here a second. So I'm going to reward that calm state. Okay. Good job, Kai Guy. So there you go, guys. Mr. Kai has done such a great job. He is so social with all of his buddies now. He is walking nicely on leash. He is saying hi to people really nicely. Make sure you follow through with calm state of mind when you are greeting new people or having him greet new people. I highly recommend keeping a leash on him, especially since we don't have e-collar with him. That way you have a way to communicate. Have to always remember to tell yourself that verbal cues are the least effective cues for working with our dogs. So just saying Kai off isn't the most effective way to get him to do that. It should work when he has done enough repetitions with you as a handler that he respects that you're his handler and that you are going to follow through with it. And he's not even going to test the limits to see what can I get away with. He very well, and almost every dog, will push test the limits when they get home to see what I am allowed to get away with still. He was allowed to do things a certain way before. He's going to have to do them a little bit different now, and so are you. So give yourself time, have patience, practice this with him as much as possible so that he can continue to work on all of his obedience, and then you guys become confident and consistent handlers for him. And you guys will have a great, happy working relationship, and then your lovey-dovey relationship comes even easier. Because who doesn't love a dog that pays attention and listens? So if you guys have any questions, let me know. You know where to find me. And if anybody else needs help with their dogs, give us a call today. We'd be happy to help you like we have with Kai. Have a good one.